Hello and welcome to another episode of the Embodied Union podcast. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Charlie.
And today we're going to be talking about men's work and I guess in a way it's a bit of my story leading into men's work and psychotherapy and how they kind of interweave and interrelate.
I think it could be good to start with what kind of prompted the discussion that we had, because there's lots of opinions
There is.
on everything, always.
Yeah.
But recently there's been a conversation around how men's work, although can be therapeutic, it's not therapy and it's not a substitute for therapy. And I actually think that's a really great statement, and I think there's lots of truth behind that, but it opened up a really great conversation between you and I, because you are a leader of men's work, but you also are a therapist. So it's not to say that the men's work that you do is therapy, but like you really have a great understanding of both worlds. And yeah, it was a really great conversation to bring here.
Yeah. So I guess, I kind of see it as like, maybe there's a discussion here and like what's the limitation and why do I believe in both rather than one or the other? And I guess my story is I got introduced to men's work back in 2017, 18. I started by doing some rites of passage training with Anna Rubinstein to sort of better help and support boys from 14 to 18. And that led me into doing my own rites of passage with the Mankind Project and going and doing their New Warrior training, which is a rites of passage for men. And coincidentally is a part of the journey for me is men's work, which is after you do the initiation, they have a men's group that connects every week. And that was my, introduction to sitting in circle every week.
Can I ask, what was happening in your life that prompted, how did you even know about men's work as an option, as something to do? What were you looking for something in particular? Was there something... why did you go there?
I think for me, in hindsight now, I kind of see it as the realization that I was hitting that sort of man switch age, that 28 to 32. And although I'd already been a father of nearly 10 years, it was a opportunity got presented to me by one of my clients' husbands who brought men's work or MKP to Australia. And he started having some conversations with me about life and about more than just who I am as a Olympic weightlifting coach for Australia, but who am I? And I started to question that myself of who am I? How did I get here? How am I the way I am? And, never really thinking that, therapy was an option or a thought, and all men's work either.
Had you ever done any therapy at this point? Had you done anything? Were you completely green to self-develop? I know you had done some Landmark Forum.
Yeah.
But therapy, men's work, had you touched it before?
No, I hadn't. I think I might have sat in circle with somebody maybe around that time and got introduced to, sitting in circle a little bit, but I hadn't done any designated men's work. I kind of...
And no therapy?
No therapy at that stage, no. Yeah, but definitely lots of reading and landmark, heaps of landmark education work. That was my introduction into personal development when I found out I was going to be a dad at 21.
Such a baby.
Yeah, so really wanting some support around that.
So men's work, you met a guy and through his own kind of questions prompted you to be more self-reflective, who am I beyond the weightlifting coach? So it was more, you were driven to men's work through a curiosity for self-reflection rather than trying to put out a crisis or put out a fire.
Well, it was both because I ended up having a crisis in my life in 2018, and so for me, I was kind of booked in to go to this initiation, but just prior to it, obviously, we've spoken about this on the podcast, my marriage imploded. My partner at the time fell in love with a woman, and I thought it was, in the same week that I shut my gym was the same week that my wife opened up our marriage at the time. So it was just a
Men's
complete...
work came at a good time.
It was a complete ego death. And also in that, there was deep, deep loneliness and an identity death that I had of not being a coach anymore. And then who am I? And all the friends I had or acquaintances I had, I no longer had. Like I went from having 100 conversations a day to no one.
So it really was a crisis point, you know, like someone introduced it to you, you're a really curious,
I was already signed up.
introspective guy, you were going to go,
Yeah.
but you were lonely and you were in big crisis.
Yeah, so I'd signed up and then the crisis happened, which actually really supported me because, you know, it was a place that I could come and just fall apart. And I'd never had the experience and I didn't even know I was missing it, but I'd never felt deeply connected to men.
I was going to say, like, at that point, did you have male friendships that you could go and open up, like, emotionally about? Like, I know it's so different.
I remember that I would say back then, yes, I could have.
You thought you
but
did.
I had no idea.
What was possible?
No, not what is possible.
Right.
And I didn't know how. And I had no one that was modeling it to me. So I'd been there for people, like some of my clients had breakups and I'd really like held them as they cried into my arms. And like I had really like really intense moments of triumph and loss being a coach. But I'd never sort of had close friends. I had female friends and I probably would have spoken to them or felt more comfortable speaking to women about my emotions or my problems, that sort of thing, but never going to seek the counsel of men.
So I'm so curious what that was like for you. Like it's at a time in your life where you needed that and it was such medicine. But was it confronting at all? You know, like lots of men, I feel like so many men will resonate with this loneliness piece and can't imagine the experience of having this connection with men who really see and hold you, but it also might feel quite edgy. Like for you, did it feel confronting? Or just like, a big hug?
No, rites of passage is always like, it's actually designed to be confronting. Like that's the whole point of a rites of passage is it's meant to challenge you. It's meant to strip you of your identity, so to speak, or the parts of you that no longer serve you, so the version of you that's deeper within can emerge. It's like if we're too full in our cup, we can't bring out the goodness if there's only stuff all over the top of it. So to me, it was like trimming off the hedges to reveal the deeper part of me, the more me version of me. So at the actual rites of passage, and I won't share any of the details, but my experience was that here's 30 men in the rites of passage and there's 50 men holding space for us in that transformation. So a lot of the transformational spaces are heavily women. So to have no women there and it just be men, it completely shifted it for me. The level of sincerity, connection, support, challenge, banter, love, you know, like it was so good. I remember this moment, I was just like, fuck, like this is what I've been craving, never knowing that I was craving it. I was just like, it's still overwhelming to consider it. And I was like, fuck, everyone needs this, right? Like I'm that guy that's just like, won't shut up about it even 7 years later to this date. So it's like, men's works to me is like so deeply profound and was so amazing for me. And whenever I hear someone talk shit about it, I just think, fuck you, like you idiot, like don't you dare, like whatever experience that you've had, it's like, that's like, oh, I went to a restaurant once and my meal was shit, so all restaurants are shit. It's like, grow up, like recognize that there is so many different versions and varieties.
So let's talk about that then, because like, why do you think men's work has like a negative? What's the negative story people have, and why do you think that's there?
Yeah, so I think culturally there's a fear of men getting together and being empowered, that I especially see that the feminine and any woman or even man that has been abused by men's power and patriarchal power, which is, the patriarch is immature power. It's not grounded masculine power. They've had a bad experience or have had others experience bad interactions. And so they're scared of men getting together, feeling empowered and being empowered. Why else would they, or why else is there a negative quality? I think there's a limitation to men's work, that it's not the be all and end all.
As in, you agree that there's a limitation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Men's work has that because it's in a group setting. Yeah. So there's, the limitation is that you can't get to the individual depth of the character of the individual and give it the space and time necessary because there's other people there.
So this is where that men's work is therapeutic but not therapy.
Correct.
That speaks to that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a limitation or something that I see as a con to it. The other thing too is it's people that are using it as a business model. So they're kind of tribal in the sense of, oh, my men's work is better than your men's work. And I think that...
Do you feel a lot of that in the space?
I see it. I see it as like men not connecting with other brothers or other circles. It's like our circle is separate. Clicky. Yeah. Our circle is tribally separate to every other circle. And this is why the work that I've done with MKP and with Samurai Brotherhood back in the 2020 and on was so good, is because we created multiple groups and we connected every couple of months and we were in it together, and the leaders would be sharing and supporting and connecting ourselves and really trying to grow it as a movement and as a place to come and connect and feel in tribe to, rather than like this, you're in it and everyone's out, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I see it in gym culture because I came from a gym culture that like my gym's better than your gym, my weightlifting club's better than your weightlifting club, all that kind of stuff. And it's just ego. So it's not
men's work specific, it's just people.
being humans, which is, we're tribal by nature. We're social creatures and we're tribal, you know? So there is a biological thing with that. But I see it as we don't have to fall into that or stay trapped to it, you know? So there's definitely that. I think too, men can get caught up in that the leader of the group is somehow almighty and
the guru.
Absolute guru culture. So there's that.
Pedestaling.
Yes, and I think too, it's unregulated. So men's work is unregulated, that any man can put himself in a position of power or of status that doesn't have the proper training to be able to hold space for men in a safe way. So they might have good business and good marketing, but not actually have the skills.
Might be shit in relationship and all those personal pieces falling like in flames.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you know, when men start with men's work or they're introduced to it, it's okay to find the group that's right for you, that feels good for you. So before people kind of write off, well, all men's work's the same, it's really recognizing that, like a restaurant, there's different restaurants. There's steak restaurants, and then there's really good steak
vegan restaurants.
Yeah.
There's the steak.
So it's just finding what the group stands for, and are you aligned with it? You know, because I sort of see that as well, that men come into men's work, do it for 6 to 2 years, 6 months to 2 years on average, and then, you know, either move on to something else or take a break or whatever it might be. So I think that's definitely a part of it as well. Because the question was around like, what are the cons, right?
Yeah, and I suppose let's speak. I have another question that I want to ask.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can go back to the benefits. I think you've spoken about the benefits so much, but I think we should still touch it. But to come back to that, men's work is therapeutic, not therapy. Like, if you had, like, what's the difference? Like, what is a man going to get from men's work, or what could he get from a really solid circle? And what is he going to therapy for? Like, what is the actual distinction? So a man listening is like, I actually do need a therapist. Or actually men's work is the missing piece. And I do see that both is best,
Yeah.
but the difference.
Yeah, so I think what a man's really going to get when he joins a men's group is a place for him to share himself without restriction. So he doesn't have to be perfect and doesn't have to get it right. Like, he can bring his messiness and his unsureness and his parts that he would normally hide, deny, or repress to circle. Like, that's a good place to come, knowing that it's a place that's confidential, and he might be someone that's in relationship and wants support around his relationship. They can be supportive in men's group to, like, oh, I said this, or I want to have this happen in my relationship, and the other men share their experience with that exact thing, and they realize, oh, I'm not alone. Because this is the big piece, is like, when men come to men's group, they realize that their problems aren't unique to just them. By sharing, they realize that, oh, other men have gone through similar stuff. So I can take that collective experience of all the men and learn from it in such a beautiful way.
I feel like that would also kind of meet the loneliness piece.
Correct. It's also for men that feel like they've got acquaintances or they've got friends, like people that they work with.
Or go to the pub with.
But they haven't got anyone that they can actually go deep. Because I hear that all the time. Oh, we talk. I got my bros. But they don't. They don't have men that they can actually deeply talk to. You know, if they bring something that's serious, their mate would probably, likely go, oh, should be right, mate, let's have a beer. You know, like, they don't actually know how to hold space.
And they also probably don't challenge. I think that one of the most beautiful things that I hear about men's work is the men in your group aren't just going to coddle and appease you. Like, if you bring something in your relationship, they'll actually, they can be a bit more good men. They will challenge and, like, kind of call you to a higher standard.
Correct.
Which maybe your friends or acquaintances aren't going to do.
That is true. And I think, to be honest, that's how I see it, being a little bit different, being a therapist to sitting in circle, is when I sit in circle, I can be way more brutal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a permission to just call
violent.
the bullshit out.
The violence.
Whereas as a therapist, I'm trained
Non-violence.
and abide by the Hakomi principles of non-violence and non-judgment to be like, oh, yeah, okay. And just like, we work with the person in a more gentle way. Whereas in men's work, it's like, that's not okay, bro.
I love that. Okay, so the man
That's why I like
the
it.
man who's coming to men's work, he's going to benefit from community and connection, belonging, being challenged, being called
valued,
forward, but also being valued,
being dependent, being dependable. Like, what I also really see is people, and especially, men don't realize what happens in men's group is they realize that they are also a part of the group and dependable too, because a lot of men don't realize how important they are.
their inherent value they become aware of.
Correct. From being in circle and realizing that they do have great things to share and they do have experience and they can be of support. Like, men just want to feel useful. So when they're in circle, they get to be useful. They get to support each other. They get to give advice and it to be taken in rather than rejected, So it's like, they're all the things that most men don't come to circle for. They don't realize there's plenty of that. Often they're coming for themselves, and once they realize how powerful men's group is, even when they come when they don't feel like it, they're the knights. So sometimes they're the person being supported, and other nights they're the ones being the support.
Yeah.
And so it really helps men be able to receive nourishment and know how to be loved and give love.
Yeah. It's so...
That's so good.
Okay, tell me on the flip then, like a man is coming to you and you're like, this dude, he needs therapy. Like what is he getting from therapy that he can't get from men's work?
So what I see around that is like attachment work, inner child, early child work, trauma, things that are really personal that he doesn't want to share in a group, that he might have deep shame about or deep guilt about, and things that are more sort of complex that need more time than just a couple of shares in a men's group once a week. So it's just deeper work, and usually that becomes apparent if a man comes to group or comes to circle. Me being a trained therapist, I start to notice like a pattern, or I see something that needs a little bit more attention or a bit more work. Often in life, we get to a place of stuckness or of something's not working, or a repeated pattern that we dislike about ourselves or that isn't helpful. Men's group will expose that, and then therapy, you get the opportunity to heal it.
That's a really nice way of looking at it. Men's group exposes the pattern, the conditioning, the loop, and then therapy is what really lets you work on it, like do the deeper work.
Yeah, it's like, I just sort of see it as that. It's, you can go to the gym or you can hire a personal trainer. You know,
Why not do both?
Well, exactly. And it kind of speeds the process as well. It's like men's group really then becomes the belonging and community and the tribal piece of being a part of community more than just your partner. And therapy really lets you deepen your connection with yourself. So especially with the Hakomi method, because it's assisted self-study. So it's amazing. And I seriously believe that having that as a modality to learn your inner workings, it also then you get to go and do it in real life in, say, like a men's group environment. You also get to really show up in a way that feels the most authentic as well. So there's a lot of benefit there.
I also feel like I work with women, but often I'll get women who've been doing the work for a long time, and I'm doing this thing, I've been doing all like the therapy and like even beautiful somatic work, but still something is missing. And when you zoom out and look at her bigger life picture, it's actually that she's not in community and she's not in connection. And like that, even though men's work or women's work, whatever, it's not therapy, being in connection and in the group and having a sense of belonging, it's a part of the healing. And I would say it even speaks to some attachment piece, because it's still relationship.
Yeah, relationship to group.
Relationship to group.
Correct.
Yes, like, and like in a bigger sense, like in the world, you know, like how do I fit? Do I belong? Do I not belong? Like you get to heal those kind of really early attachment pieces by feeling like you're part of a community, valued, and like you belong somewhere. Like I really see that. It's powerful.
And I think too, I was going to say, is one of the things that's usually misunderstood or not noticed is that therapy can be very confronting for men before they start. So men's group is an opportunity to sort of dip your toe into doing this work.
It's like the gateway drug to self-inquiry, isn't it?
It's a little bit deeper. And then that kind of allows it. Because I always wondered that. I was like, why don't more men come to men's group? And I'm like, it's too intimate.
Yeah.
And then I've worked with couples for years now, and I realize that, wow, so many men can't do intimacy. They can do, they're starving for love and they want to be loved by their partner, but they can't do intimacy. They're trying to do sex to get connection, but like it's intimacy is the connection. Sex, you can have sex and not feel any connection, and then it feels empty and it doesn't nourish, whereas true intimacy really does create the connection, which creates the co-regulation, which gives the sense of belonging, and yeah, it's an interesting one with that. Just I sort of see that. And I also see that when I work with somebody as a one-on-one client, it does take a little bit to build up that level of safety and trust.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to do deeper work. I had an initial client today and, we're really just working with those protector parts in the beginning. Every time we got close to something that he was upset about or didn't like, he kind of told himself that he should be happy, and he should not be so complainy. And it's like, oh wow, look, notice that, huh? And it's so hard you would probably not pick that up in a group. So, and I think too, I sort of think about these pros and cons, and again, there's a lot of people, the criticism of men's work is that it's performative or it's big group catharsis. And I kind of...
There probably is some of that.
There is some of that. And I think that's what I sort of initially saw for myself, is that it's really good to do the big, powerful, cathartic work. But I really saw a gap of like the finesse, how to create so much more subtlety that allows somebody to go deeper into something that's more sensitive or needs more space and slowness. And I think that's, for me, came into men's work, saw how powerful it was, how big it was, knowing how sensitive my nervous system was. It's like, there's got to be something that's a little bit like, goes a little bit more deeper. And I think that's, for me, naturally how I got into psychotherapy, is I wanted to be able to be the hammer, but also the brush.
You want to be the fluffy hammer.
That's right. So it's like, how can I have range with someone? Like, how can I challenge a man to really have him step up and face his fear? But how can I also hold his deep shame or his deep fear, and be able to work with that in a way that I can do both.
Yeah, and I think that is what makes you a gift in the men's work space, because you really earn your stripes as far as like in the world of therapy, but in the world of rites of passage as well. I don't really know another man who's really gone and ticked those boxes so that he can have that kind of range when it comes to holding space.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, I kind of always have seen that for me, is that I love to learn and I want to be useful, and I want to have community and build community, which I've always done. So it's, building and developing that network as well of people, and then working with people more deeply with psychotherapy and with couples, and I'm just loving it. I just absolutely love it.
Well, I think it's really exciting that you are about to start your in-person group for men in the Northern Rivers. When do you think that's going to kick off?
At the moment, I'm just looking for a venue. It's something that I would love to do. We've 4 years now of running the online every week, every Tuesday night, which I absolutely love. And doing something in person is, it's just really special. In person is really special. And I love how it brings like what I get out of it is I get to have an epic group of men to hang around and to interact with and go deep with and feel really connected to. And I just know the epic work that we do when we get together, like whether it's community projects or we help each other move house or bring our families together and just build a sense of community. So I love that.
I have to say, as well, as a woman in relationship with a man so committed to men's work, it's a real gift in our relationship. Like you have a place where you can bring all of yourself, and I know that you are held by good men who will challenge you, but who will also love you. And like, I think sometimes in relationship, when men don't have that kind of support, their woman can become the person where they'll bring their troubles to and their wobbles to. And it's not that you can't share yourself with me vulnerably, but like you're not the man that dumps your stress and overwhelm in our relationship. Like, you don't do that. And I know it's because if you have something, you'll lean on your men. And like, you can lean on me, but I love the way that I love how you bring yourself to me. It's like you've already kind of looked at it and it's been tended to with your men.
Yeah, the energy or the trigger's been taken out of it or whatever.
Or you've had some like reflection with it, and I don't know. It's like I've been in a relationship where I'm like, tell me everything, be vulnerable with me, be emotional with me, I want all your emotions, and then your man brings you all his like financial stresses and concerns, and then suddenly my nervous system is like freaking out, and it's like, yeah, but I want to be able to, like, I think in service to the relationship and in service to like polarity and in service to like both of our nervous systems, it's really good that men have men and that women have women, and we're being quite like respectful of not just using our relationship to just dump all of our unfiltered like just mess.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that, and I know that you and I see a therapist once a month together, and we also, I sit in circle. I think the part that you just sort of prompted for me though is, I think one of the cons and one of the things that is being said about men's work is some of the men don't have mentors themselves.
As in some of the leaders of men's work?
And I think that's why, like me as a therapist who has my supervision once a month, it's not all men's groups have a supervisor, so to speak, and somebody keeping the person in the lead in check. And I think that is something that I could definitely see as, like, I've supported multiple men that lead circles in supporting them. And I think it's really important that, you know, if your leader of your group has got somebody that they're in connection with.
Yeah, I think that is so important. Like, being a therapist, it's a given. Like, you have to be in supervision. Like, we are constantly under supervision because it is just like the rules to like be in this profession. And there are lots of leaders in the more coaching style spaces. Like you said at the very beginning, it's not regulated. You know, anyone can call themselves a men's leader. Anyone can call themselves a coach. And like, that can be the danger of it. So I think it's so important that you have discernment when it comes to picking the circle that you want to sit in, the coach that you want to work with, or the therapist that you want to see.
Ah, mate, yes, absolutely. I mean,
you want someone that is walking, like is practicing like really what they preach, who really is the embodiment of their work. You know, like any man can challenge a man in circle, but like look at his relationship, look at his family life, like look at the bigger picture of that human. Are you inspired by him? How is he with money? How is he with business? How is he like in all of those ways? Like, have discernment.
Yeah.
I would not want to go and I would not want my mentor to be like falling apart in relationship. Like, I value relationship. That's one of my number one values. I want the person that I am going to be something that is a muse for me.
Inspiration.
Inspiring me like that. I feel like that's really important.
Yeah, well, to me, it's the safety, trust, respect. Respect is we admire the person, not that we pedestal or fall into, but, you know, I admire that person, you know. So, yeah, is there any
final words that you have to just say about men's work?
I just sort of see it as like, what I'm really proud of that I see in this area, like we've got a gathering of men coming up, is like the collaborative effort, you know, like really just acknowledging the men in the space that are really giving so many men the opportunity to step forward and to step into community and deeper leadership, and give men the experience and the opportunity to come together and have an absolutely amazing time with other men, because it's like we need more epic men in the world. You know, there's so many passive men and men that are just getting by, and I'd love to see more men in their life thrive and have that opportunity. And to think that there's spaces and places out there for men that help men really thrive, and men can't see that or aren't in that sphere. It's like share as much as you can with any brother. If you're in men's work and you're listening to this, it's like, give them the opportunity, create the invitation, you know. I think that's the big one. Just trying to think. I'm pretty sure there was something else, but I reckon that's
Or your
probably it.
men's group is online, the in-person is starting up, the gathering of men is coming up. Like, if you're interested in men's work, reach out to this man.
Yeah, I would love to support in any way, shape or form that I can. And I think that's the beauty, is like running the online is any man from any corner of the world can come and sit in circle with me. And it's really low ticket. I think that's the other thing too that I didn't mention. It's like men's work is a really lower entry point financially.
It's affordable.
It's really affordable. It's really low cost, versus therapy can be, for some men, feels like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
And so I think that is also of benefit too, is having some support to begin with to start can be a game changer for a lot of men. So thanks, my love.
Thanks for sharing. I love how much it touches you, and like, yeah, you're such an advocate for it, and I so appreciate you sharing
Yeah.
what you have.
Thanks, lover. Okay, so if you are interested, you can contact me at Lindsay B.
I am Charlie S. Hannah.
And then you can always check out the Embodied Union Instagram page. And yeah, please, if you're liking this podcast, please like and subscribe.
Share it.
Give us that 5-star rating. Thank you, my love.
I love you.